What's going on, everyone? Welcome into another episode of Luttie's Look Back. My name is Nick Luttrell. On today's show, we'll be talking Little Rock baseball. We'll recap their weekend and the tremendous postseason it was for the Trojans baseball team. We'll also talk Arkansas baseball and Arkansas softball. What's next for them? Let's look ahead to what players do they have coming back. We'll talk about the Razorbacks here in about 5 or 10 minutes. But we'll first start with talking about Little Rock baseball. Their season, unfortunately, did come to an end this past weekend in the Super Regional, the Troy Super Regional. The Trojans of Little Rock were 2 wins away from making it to the College World Series. It would have been the first time in program history. They didn't do it, but boy, were they close. And boy, did they have just a great run. I mean, it wasn't a few weeks ago where they were down to their final few outs, it felt like, or down to their last game at least, in the OVC tournament. And if they would have lost, their season would have been over 3 weeks ago. But they win that game, and they win 5 games in 4 days. They win the OVC tournament title. Then they, of course, punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. They make it to the Hattiesburg Regional. On day 1 of the Hattiesburg Regional, they upset the 1 seed in their regional, the number 9 overall national seed Southern Miss. They beat Southern Miss. They beat Jacksonville State twice. It's the first time ever that they punched their ticket to the Super Regional. And I really did think they had a shot this weekend. And I think Coach Curry and all their guys really thought they had a shot as well, because they had already beaten the number 1 team in the Sun Belt. This Troy team was maybe top 5, or they were top 5, but they weren't number 1. So it really felt like Little Rock had the edge, and just they ran into a Troy team that was just playing exceptional baseball right now. And so was Little Rock, but Troy was clearly the better team this past weekend. 12-2 loss on Friday, a 7-2 loss on Saturday. Friday, it felt weird because Brandon Westmoreland, their go-to ace all season long, had a relatively rough performance for his standards. I think he gave up 7 or 8 hits, 6 runs or so. I think both those were season highs, or at least tied season highs. In the second inning, the Trojans of Troy had 5 runs. And yeah, it was just tough going for Westmoreland. And then on Saturday, really Friday and Saturday, it was both similar for Little Rock's offense. They had some good opportunities. They had some good hits here or there. They never really had that big hit. If I remember correctly, I don't think they had a home run. They had a home run at the end of the game on Saturday. Besides that, they didn't have a single home run. And I guess that's not the most uncharacteristic thing, but those, home runs matter. And so we knew going into this series that Troy was going to be the team that has really good offense. And Little Rock's the team that has a really deep bullpen. And that deep bullpen didn't matter because they couldn't force a Game 3. If they would have forced a Game 3, it could have been different. But Troy's starting pitching was just far better. Their offense was far better. Their fielding, for the most part, was just far better. But, man, was it a tremendous season for Little Rock baseball. 39 wins, a program record, a couple other records that they had this year. Head coach Chris Curry, he surpassed the great Gary Hogan for most wins in program history. They reached the Super Regionals for the first time in program history. And they were actually ranked. They were a top 25 team at one point in one of the top 25 polls, which is pretty crazy when you're not even close to that all season long, and then you just go on a run these past few weeks. And it's not like Little Rock had a horrible season, kind of like they did in the regular season last year, and then it was just incredible run in the regional, and they ended up losing the regional. Had a relatively good overall regular season. Didn't finish out the regular season very strong. They actually got swept at home in their final regular season home series of the season. Then they turn around, they go to the OVC tournament, they win one, they lose one, and as I mentioned earlier, they go on that run winning 5 in 4 days, and then they just caught fire. I don't know what it is about Coach Curry's teams, but they just catch fire at the right time. They've done it in back-to-back seasons. The season before that, they didn't win the OVC tournament title, but they won the OVC regular season championship. So he's had them just rolling for these past 3 years, and man, I hope he sticks around for a long time here in Little Rock, because this program could go to another level. And the thing is, Little Rock is moving conferences. They'll be in the I forgot what it's called. Their conference. What is Little Rock's conference? I'm trying to remember. It's the same one as UCA. It's a UAC. It's the United Athletic Conference. So it's a different conference. It's a new conference that they'll be in for this upcoming season. I don't know the baseball programs that are really great in that conference. You got UCA, obviously, and they're decent. But we'll see if they'll have the same challenges that they did in the OVC. So that'll be fun to keep an eye on, but this program just keeps getting better. These past few years have kept getting better for Coach Curry, and now they have so much national recognition. It should be even better next year, which seems impossible. Even better next year would be at least winning one game in the Super Regional and making it to Omaha. But it's just, I think to think that that's a normal thing is a crazy thing to think when you're especially a small school and a small conference like Little Rock is. You should not expect to make it to a regional every year. And Little Rock's done it back-to-back years. To make it a third year would be another incredible feat, especially with a new conference. And now we're saying, oh, they should take the next step and make it to the College World Series. That's crazy, you guys. That's crazy. But that's almost the level that Coach Curry has set, which is a really, really powerful thing. So here's what head coach Chris Curry, before we move on to talk about Arkansas baseball, Arkansas softball. Their seasons ended a little bit before Little Rock did. Here's what Coach Curry had to say about what this run meant for his program.
Makes it where it's an expectation, makes it where we know what it's like. We know exactly how to get here. We've shown that back-to-back years. We didn't just get hot. We understand postseason play. I think our record in postseason play the past 2 years is pretty darn good. And so now we've got examples and things to point to for the returning players. And we've got examples and things to point to for players that aren't here yet. And it just shows that we know the formula and we know the path. And we'll draw on all these big experiences for how to manage playing on big stages, because we start talking about it, Mark, in August. We play people in August that are going to provide that environment. We play people in the spring to be prepared for this moment. I think the stage did not get us. We just got beat. Baseball happened. We got beat. Tip of the cap. And but man, for Little Rock baseball to be on this stage, and the highest compliment that as a coach I can be paid is, man, your team doesn't flinch. Your team's not nervous. The moment was not too big for them. Baseball things may happen, but it won't be because the moment's too big for Little Rock.
So a great season, a great run for the Little Rock baseball Trojans. And they're moving on to what's next. And what is next is looking at the future. And so is Arkansas baseball. And we'll turn our attention to talk about the Razorbacks now. You see all their face cutouts here. This is the majority of the important, what I would call, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, the important players from Arkansas's baseball season this past year and where they'll be going for this upcoming season. And it's pretty spread out. We're going to talk about Arkansas baseball, then we're going to talk about softball. It's relatively spread out in comparison to a lot of these other programs. Now, this will start to get itself figured out once some of these guys probably into the transfer portal, when some of them get drafted. We'll figure those things out. But I'm going to kind of go by each of these groups one by one, tell you a little bit about what their seasons were like as a Razorback for this year, and what could be next for them. So you see leaving, staying, and then you have, I don't know exactly what's going to happen here. We're going to have to figure it out in these next few weeks. So let's start with leaving. Let's start with the easiest ones to figure out, because it does get a little complicated when we're talking college baseball, especially in the MLB draft. Let's talk about the guys who we know for sure won't be back next season on this Arkansas baseball team. That's Micah New, that's Zach Stewart, and that's Parker Coyle. Got a line here that kind of shows the pitchers. You got fielders, you got pitchers on the right side. So out of eligibility are all those guys. They were seniors. New and Stewart transferred in. New came from Marshall, was a really good hitter last year for the Thundering Herd. And this year he came, he was a little bit slower, but he still had a lot of really good production for the Razorbacks. And was a pretty good fielder, a really fast center fielder, one of Arkansas's fastest players. That's the big thing for Arkansas that I remember talking about 6 months ago, was how fast this team is. And Micah New was one of those guys that contributed in that way. I know it wasn't an amazing season for everyone, but let's just talk individually. Micah New's gone. We'll see if he gets drafted in the MLB draft, but he's out of eligibility. Zach Stewart, man, this guy was a little inconsistent. Let's be honest. It was either home run or it was a strikeout. There's another guy that was kind of like that somewhere around here. Pompey, TJ Pompey. It was either a home run or a strikeout. There's too many of those guys. Two is too many to say this guy either hit a home run or struck out. That was the case with Zach Stewart. He was a little bit in and out of the lineup, but was relatively pretty consistent. Fielding not great, so I don't know if this guy's going to get drafted, but he had some fun. He had some fun home runs as a Razorback. So that's Zach Stewart. That's Micah New, and then finally Parker Coyle. past few seasons he's been with the Razorbacks. It could be longer than that. Last year he actually got drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers. Felt like that was going to be it for him. But it was so late in the MLB draft that whether he just wanted to continue to be a Razorback, continue to develop more, or maybe Arkansas offered him an NIL package that was better than what the Brewers were going to be offering him as to play in the minor leagues and everything. He came back for this year probably to try to win a national championship. Didn't happen for him, but also to improve his draft stock. And I certainly think Parker Coyle did that, so I do think he'll probably be drafted. So that's Arkansas's reliever, Parker Coyle. Then moving on to guys who are going to be drafted for sure in the MLB draft, but not necessarily out of eligibility. So if they wanted to, they could be drafted and come back. Some of these guys will be silly to come back next season for the Razorbacks, and most of these guys are. Damian Ruiz would be the only one, and maybe Ethan McIlvain. That'd be like, oh, you don't want to be the silliest guy ever to come back, but they probably won't. Like 99% chance won't. Those two guys. These top four up here, yeah, they're gone. Cam Kojo, Ryder Helfrich, Hunter Dietz, and Gabe Gackel. Who do I want to talk about first? Let's talk about the two guys who will probably be first-round picks. That's Gabe Gackel. That's Ryder Helfrich. Ryder Helfrich's Arkansas's catcher. He's top 10 prospect, which is pretty crazy because at times this year he's looked great. At other times you've been like, is he really a top 10 prospect? It's kind of hard for me to believe. There's probably just a lot of things that Helfrich does that me not being the most baseball guru and knowing everything a catcher is supposed to do knows about, that maybe the scouts watching him do know. So there's a reason why he's a projected first-round pick. And, yeah, it'll be fun to see what Ryder Helfrich does as an MLB player. So that's Ryder Helfrich, and the guy on the far right over here on this side of our column for leaving. Gabe Gackel's another guy that, like, is he really a first-round pick? He never really consistently performed to that potential as a Razorback, unfortunately. And I hope he gets it more consistently because apparently he does have the stuff. And I've seen it at times that he has the stuff to be really good. And it was just inconsistent this year, inconsistent as a Razorback. Out of the bullpen, it was great. That was the funny thing with Gabe Gackel. Out of the bullpen, he would be tremendous. First-round pick. Outside of that, anytime you try to start him, he just can never figure it out. So we'll see. Maybe he's just used as a reliever in the MLB, and maybe he's just the best reliever, which wouldn't surprise me. That's Gabe Gackel. That's Ryder Helfrich. Hunter Dietz certainly skyrocketed his ability in the MLB draft this season. He became Arkansas's ace. He was the number 2 at the start of the season. Then he became the number 1. He certainly was that. He put together, I talked about it on last week's show, he put together a top 5, top 10 greatest Arkansas pitcher type of season. This season for the Razorbacks did Hunter Dietz, which is just crazy. I mean, the lefty's great. Won't be a first-round pick, but maybe top 5. Another guy would be top 5, Cam Kojo, the transfer from Vanderbilt from a couple years ago, the Omaha native who got to return to Omaha last year, which was really cool. Just a fun guy to get to talk to in the press conferences, and just a fun personality that will, of course, his baseball skills will be missed because he did a little bit of everything, but just his personality will be missed as a Razorback as well. So I think he's a junior, so he could come back, but he'll be a top 5 or 6 round pick, so he won't come back. And then, as I mentioned, the two others, Damian Ruiz transferred into the Razorbacks this season, was the one hole for all season, I'm pretty sure. He was great. He was definitely good enough to get drafted, and Ethan McIlvain was Arkansas's really good closer this year. He will get drafted, so he'll be gone. Talk about the guys that are staying. For sure, we know these guys are staying. They should stay, at least. I will say, none of these guys have officially announced, hey, I'm coming back next year. So these guys do have the ability to enter the transfer portal and go somewhere else, but they're not going to be drafted. They're not running out of eligibility, but I do think they probably will stay. And there are a lot of young guys. Kind of on the left side, we got the hitters, we got the freshmen. On the right side, some sophomores, some more experienced pitching. Cole Gibbler, again, I feel like I use the word inconsistent too much, but Cole Gibbler was that this season. The first part of the year, he was great. The middle part, he was okay. The last part, he was really bad. He was. And then came back, he was really good, and he was kind of bad. That's how Cole Gibbler's season went. So I'm really excited to see what Cole Gibbler, assuming he stays and doesn't enter the transfer portal, I'm really excited to see what he does next season because I think he could be one of Arkansas's weekend rotation arms. So that's Cole Gibbler. Steele Eves, a Lone Oak native. I don't know if he's got the potential to be a weekend arm, but he's got the potential to be the best returning reliever that Arkansas has. He took a big step this year. 2 years ago, who's that guy that jumped into the pond after Arkansas won the Super Regional? Oh, that was Steele Eves. To this year, he's like, oh, that's Steele Eves. He's pretty good out of the bullpen. To next year, you can be like, that's Steele Eves. He's the go-to guy out of the bullpen. That's what Mr. Eves can do next season if he chooses to stay, not into the transfer portal. Then you have all these freshmen. You have these talented 4 freshmen. You got Alexander Peck, Carson Brumbaugh, Carter Rutenbar, and Christian Turner, Michael Turner, former Arkansas catcher. Let's start with Rutenbar. He was Arkansas's best freshman this season. I don't think he was in the lineup a ton at the beginning, and then he kind of caught his stride. And he was a top 4 or 5 hitter this year for Arkansas. He's a good fielder as well. Put him at first base. He designated hit at times as well. Christian Turner barely played, but when he did, he had that, was it a walk-off? I think it was a walk-off home run for the Razorbacks against Ole Miss. That was fun. Carson Brumbaugh, also Turner, third baseman, first baseman. Same with Alexander Peck. Carson Brumbaugh, he was the one who we thought was going to be one of the best freshmen this year, and then it kind of turned to Rutenbar. Brumbaugh started the year and then kind of fell off, didn't play much in SEC play. So I'm curious to see what he does. I think he started the year at shortstop, so we'll see if he can progress to be better as a fielder, so Arkansas can include him in their lineup. And then Alexander Peck, first baseman, third baseman, I think, but did play first baseman for a couple of games and did have a pretty good home run against Oklahoma. So those are the guys I think are going to stay, or at least have the opportunity to stay and won't be drafted. Then you have this kind of weird column with the question mark, because it's like, what's really going on here? And it's more of a case-by-case basis. I may have to use my notes a little bit to try to figure these guys out. So let me go through, let me double-check my notes here. Let's read through them all individually. We got 4 pitchers, we got 4 hitters. All of them, for the most part, I think are draft eligible, sort of. But it's like, will they come back? These guys are kind of maybe a 50-50 shot. They could get drafted, and they could come back like Parker Coyle did last year, or they could not get drafted. They could be back, or they could enter the transfer portal, not even be back next season. So you got hitters. You got Kohio Aloy, TJ Pompey, Nolan Souza, Reese Robinette. You got pitchers, Colin Fisher, Tate McGuire, Cooper Dossett, James DeCrimmer. There's probably a few others. Again, I'm just noting the major ones that if you watched Arkansas's games this season, you'd be familiar with. There may be a few you don't know, and that's okay. Cooper Dossett, James DeCrimmer didn't pitch a ton. Let's start with the hitters. Let me start with Kohio Aloy. He probably will get drafted. If I had a pick, I'd probably put him over here. Probably a guy that's going to get drafted and won't be back next season. But there is a potential, more than any of those other guys, that he could be back for next season. Kohio is just one of the strongest hitters in all of college baseball, and he's got so much potential. And with that potential comes draft opportunities. So he could get drafted. The downside to him is he can't really play outfield very well. He's just a designated hitter. They tried it this year, it didn't work. And then he got injured, and Arkansas could have used him down the stretch to hit. But he just wasn't the fielder that Arkansas expected him to be. So maybe that hurts his draft stock, but helps him come back to Arkansas next year. That's Kohio Aloy, of course, the younger brother of Vahiva Aloy, one of the best players, the best player in college baseball a season ago. So that's Kohio Aloy. We got TJ Pompey, the Texas Tech transfer, was great at times this season. Other times I think he was first or at least top 5 as far as most strikeouts in a single season for a Razorback, TJ Pompey. So that's TJ Pompey, inconsistent. Same boat as Aloy, as is, okay, let me double check here. Aloy and Souza. Yeah, I would say Aloy, Pompey, and Souza are all kind of in the same boat. There's a good chance they'll get drafted. Also a good chance they won't get drafted. It's kind of a 50-50 shot there. So Pompey, Souza was great this year, but just never really had that big hit to where you're like, oh, Nolan Souza, great hit, RBI, clutch moment. Didn't really happen. He was also recovering from an injury at the start of the year. It'd be awesome to have Nolan Souza back. It'd be awesome to have a lot of these guys back. Then Reese Robinette. Could get drafted, could return. I guess most of these guys are similar. There's little discrepancies with each of them, but I'm not going to get too into the weeds of that. I've already gone too long on this segment. So I'm just going to tell you all 8 of these guys are just ones that I don't really know for sure. And they don't know for sure either. They could get drafted, and then they could choose to come back, or they could not get drafted. They could choose to come back, or they could enter the transfer portal. Reese Robinette was great at times this season for the Razorbacks. Kind of fell out of the starting lineup. Then you got Colin Fisher. He didn't take that step that you wanted to this past season for the Razorbacks. You got Tate McGuire. He got better. Cooper Dossett. He got better. James DeCrimmer. I'm looking forward to seeing James DeCrimmer next season. He, at times, looked really dominant. And if he can make that stride from year 1 in the program to year 2 in the program for the Razorbacks, that's a big deal. Now, the one person I didn't include on this is Carson Wiggins. a whole nother story. Just look up his name. It's a little complicated. Had an injury, didn't play this year. I think he's draft eligible, but he didn't play at all this year. So will he play next year? I don't know. With the Razorbacks, will he transfer? Will he get drafted? He's got the potential to be a top 25 pick overall. He's got the Ryder Helfrich, the Gabe Gatko kind of stuff. He comes back from Arkansas next year, he could be their best pitcher. If he doesn't, that would kind of stink because he's got a really good arm. So that is Arkansas baseball. Who's leaving, who's staying, and then I don't really know after that. So that's baseball. Let's move on to the softball world of things. Who's leaving, who's staying, and I don't really know what's going on here. A little less complicated with the MLB draft. Not quite as popular in college softball when we talk about what they're going to do going forward in pro softball. But this is a little bit step ahead because we do know some girls who are going to transfer. So you got leaving, staying, and question mark. Let me get to the leaving later. Let's just go staying. 3 players already have officially announced they will be back next season, have signed their deals and everything. That's Ella McDowell, the amazing shortstop. She was a freshman last year. She was a sophomore this year, and she just got even better. And I can't wait to see the stride she makes as a junior, as probably one of Arkansas's best players for next season. Peyton Burnham also took great strides. She was Arkansas's number 2 best pitcher. Robin Herron over here was number 1. Burnham should be number 1 this upcoming season unless they get someone out of the transfer portal. Then right behind her, Sailor Timmerman, a freshman, was really good this season. Was really good. So she'll be just pushing Burnham. She could go for that starting spot because I think she's got the stuff as a freshman to be really good. So there's the 3 that are staying, which is great. But there are a lot of players that are leaving. And some are transfer portal. A lot of them are just older girls that are out of eligibility, that are moving on to whatever's next with their life, whether that's pro softball, whether that's going and making a living doing something else. So here are the ones that are out of eligibility that'll be leaving the Razorbacks. Tiana Bell, Reese Burline, Carly Davison, Dakota Kennedy, Robin Herron, Reagan Johnson, Kaylee Wyckoff. Then you got 4 that are transferring. Kennedy Miller, a little weird thing with her there, kind of doing an academic transfer, not purely athletics is what I've heard. And then a couple others I'm not as familiar with, so let me check my notes here. Ashton Reichart, I believe you guys probably pronounce that. Cam Harrison, Italia Rio, which is a really, that one just happened a few minutes before this taping, entering the transfer portal. So all these players were great this season. The starters, Tiana Bell, Carly Davison, Dakota Kennedy, Robin Herron was the ace, Reagan Johnson was sensational, Kaylee Wyckoff was great, and then Kennedy Miller was also a starter. So Arkansas is losing probably 8 of their 9 starting lineup. You got Ella McDowell coming back, and that's it. Because Italia Rio just entered the transfer portal, so that's a big blow for them because she was Arkansas' shortstop. She was a good hitter. She was a sensational shortstop. Arkansas broke the single-season double plays record, which was really impressive. So that hurts for Italia Rio to leave. Kennedy Miller, maybe not as much because we'll talk about Brindley Bain in a second, but a freshman that's really good that I think will be the catcher next season. Then you got Cam Harrison and Ashton Reichart that didn't get a ton of playing time this season, so they entered the transfer portal probably to go somewhere else and to get more playing time. And then, again, all of these star players gone for next year, and then Reese Burline, one who pitched a lot more last year, and then this year I think is because of Sailor Timmerman, didn't get the pitches that she wanted, but either way, out of eligibility. But, man, Arkansas put together a great season. It stinks. Because I remember thinking about this a year ago, like Arkansas is going to have a lot of these girls coming back next year. Then they went in the portal and got Bell, and they got Kennedy, and that was really big. And that's why they had this team being one of the best teams in the country all season long that fell short in the Women's College World Series. And then there's 2 that we don't know for sure. It would be huge if Brindley Bain could come back. She was Arkansas's best freshman this year. Outside of Sailor Timmerman, they're probably both really good. They get Bain back. She played right field this year, but she's listed as a catcher/infielder, which tells me she can play whatever she wants. Sounds like she could be Arkansas's catcher if Kennedy Miller's out the door, so that could be big for her to stay, but is not officially announced yet. And the other one is Ramsey Walker, who didn't get a ton of starts, at least in SEC play, but is a good player. So for her to come back would also be a big deal. So that's Arkansas softball, who's leaving, staying, and who might be staying, depending on some decisions that they make. Those are kind of the major players, at least I should say. There's a couple others that have already announced, and everything. I just kept it to the major players for Arkansas softball. And then we talked Arkansas baseball. So now we'll finally end my show with, well, my Lutties look ahead. We rarely do a look ahead, but let's look ahead to what's next. What's next is 88 days from now. Oh, yeah, it's football time. Arkansas Razorbacks. You know what? Let's be honest, folks. Baseball's over. Softball's over. I don't know. What are you watching? Track and field right now? That's probably over. I don't really know. Football's next, you guys. Football is next, and man, am I excited? Sure, because it's like it'll be football season soon, and it's always exciting to have football season. And there's a new head coach. Do I think Arkansas will have a great season? Probably not. But hey, let's get excited. 88 days from now, North Alabama and Arkansas. Razorback Stadium, September 5th, 3:15 on SEC Network. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Luttie's Look Back. It's been fun talking about a great season that it was for Little Rock baseball, and then looking ahead to a lot of craziness that could be for Arkansas baseball and Arkansas softball, what it looks like for them for the upcoming season. We'll see you guys same time, same place next week.